special. Yes, her name is Elle, and she's a doula here in Las Vegas. Elle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you.
Tell us, in your own words, what does a doula do?
A doula is there to support the mother, the baby, the family during the prenatal, childbirth, and postnatal period. Simply put.
And so, and so, why did you decide to become a doula?
Well, I've always been passionate. I wanted to be a pediatrician ever since I was a young child. So I've always been passionate about mothers and babies and healthcare and being able to support in that way. Um, I actually may be still continuing on to become a midwife, and this was just the first point of entry for that particular career path.
That's wonderful. Is there a certain group of people who would get more out of having a doula during the course of their pregnancy and birth? You might have high risk pregnancies or what they call advanced gestational age, which is anybody I think over like 35,
Right.
which is like
Yeah.
now you're geriatric
Exactly,
all of a sudden. If you're having multiples, if you're trying to have a home birth, if you are, so that's what I'm thinking about. With are there people who like, okay, you really should have a doula because X?
My personal feeling about that is every mother needs a doula. I don't differentiate or separate between those distinctions, the necessity of actually having a doula. I believe every mother and family can benefit from having a doula.
What would be the greatest benefit for someone to have a doula? Say it's their second or third time they haven't had one before. What would be that difference for them?
I think the difference would be knowing that you have someone there dedicated to support you. Because even when you have family, you might have your mother, your aunties, your sister, your grandmother. Very often, I think you can ask any mother, everyone is happy to show up for the baby. Everyone is here for the baby. So if you have that support, that's great. But we also need support for ourselves. If you happen to be that woman who's fortunate enough to have a full circle of family, sisters, friends, mothers, aunties, a doula is still good support to have, say, maybe for the father. Maybe the father needs someone to talk to and be there for him as a support partner during the whole birthing process. Grandparents might need a doula. You might need a doula to support the grandparents. You might need a doula there to support and talk with and be there for the older children that you already have. So a doula is just an excellent support partner. It's up to the doula, but many doulas make themselves available to the entire family. So you can really designate who that doula is there to support and what they can do to best support you.
The doula bill we were able to help. We brought that as a conversation because we wanted more access to doulas, and we wanted, so it's a Medicaid expansion bill as well, where now if doulas sign up with the state with Medicaid, that they can be reimbursed for their services, and so folks who receive Medicaid also have access to a doula.
I consider myself a full spectrum doula, which means I make myself available to mothers before pregnancy, during pregnancy, childbirth, and also after. But doulas can designate themselves to be there to assist at specific times. So you may have a doula who's only available to support you during childbirth. You may have a doula who's only there to support you, prenatally or postnatally. So those can all be differences. What I'm encouraging young women and all women is to start thinking about your birth team. If you know you want to have babies, you should start thinking about your birth team. And I don't think that word is popular enough when we're thinking about starting a family or having a baby. It takes a team. It's not just you and your doctor. It takes a team. So if you're already thinking about your future and having a baby, you should start thinking about how to construct that birth team. So constructing that team early, I think, is most valuable because it gives you a lot of time to interview different doulas and find the person who's going to be there for you and support you. I'd say any time is the best time to start reaching out and contacting doulas to find someone to work with you if you have not delivered your baby. And even if I've seen women, if you have just delivered your baby or you're early postnatal, there are doulas who are there to support postnatal. This is a support person, someone who's going to work very closely with you. So hopefully you find someone who you can develop a rapport and have an excellent open relationship with, and that person can really be there for you full circle. When you start to speak about this new bill, that is what kind of pulled me out of my remission in serving in the doula capacity, because I was that mother. I was a young mother who had no support. So because of everything I went through, I really didn't want any mother to have to suffer through what I went through unnecessarily. There's no reason that You should have to suffer during that time just because you're not aware of all the resources that are available to support you.
And even parsing through the feelings that I had about how the medical providers treated me would have been helpful to have someone to talk to you about that and to be able to kind of break that down, and probably would have given me some empowerment so that I could go back and say, look, now I heard what you said, but this is what I meant and this is what I need.
Absolutely. It's really come to the forefront now in the present day, acknowledging that we're dealing with a racially biased healthcare system, and many of our mothers and babies, some of us believe are dying because of that reason. And also it was really the information I started to get about the infant mortality rate and the black mother mortality rate, black infant mortality rate and the black mother mortality rate, in comparison to the other mothers in this country, really just impassioned me to get in here and do this work. When you start telling me moms and babies aren't making it, we can't just sit around and let that happen. Let's go. We need to get in action on this and save ourselves. So yeah, that's why that doula support partner is critically important. And having the team, I believe, is critically important. I come into it with an open mind, and an open heart. So it's good to have that person maybe that's kind of in the middle, because everybody has a job that they're focused on, and maybe the doctor is so focused on his job. The nurses are so focused on their jobs. Everybody's focused on their job that they came to do. And I think it's valuable to have someone's job be to listen to you, to hear you, and to support you. It's good to have a person designated that is their job, because that is a critical thing that needs to happen during a pregnancy. And I don't think enough moms get valued for what we need during pregnancy, childbirth, and after for ourselves, as well as what the baby might need. Like I said, I have a larger pursuit, which is to actually become a midwife and support in the delivery of babies as well. So I've trained under a Black midwife, and that was important to me because I feel like the cultural relevance is important when working with mothers. So that's who I chose to do my training with.
Do you work alongside or with midwives, or is that something that is completely separate for folks? I know that they have, if someone hired a doula, then they can then go and hire a midwife too. But do you see it something as working hand in hand, or you just could have one or the other?
It's a both and. It could go either way. And that's why for me personally, I'm changing the conversation from just getting a doula or getting a wife to securing your birth team. Because it works best when you have a team of people who are all working together to support this common goal. And I think that's just the best way to do it. And then oftentimes you will have a midwife and doulas who are already connected and work together as a team. That's amazing. That's wonderful. So it's really all about teamwork. As much teamwork as you can orchestrate for yourself and your birth team, I would say that that's the best way to go.
Well, they've always say, raising a child takes a village. I think it starts with the birthday of a child. It takes an entire village to get it together. It shouldn't be something that anyone has to do alone, whether you have a partner or not. But I think having a doula gives you another set of another way to have some peace of mind that you will have the birth experience that you want.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up I was going to share, we plan as much as we possibly can, but nature is in control of this, most often. So things can happen and you might just have to use whoever is available at that particular moment, but we can at least start with a plan. And, I just want to say that it has been stated, and I believe we are, fully accepting of the fact that there is a weathering that comes with being a Black woman in America. And that's just the reality of where we live right now. I believe there's even been studies to show that immigrant women who didn't have the same experience in their home country, it only takes one generation for the birth weights to start dropping, for the premature births to start happening. All these things that even their mothers didn't experience are happening to Black women here and women of color here in the United States. So that weathering is real, and we should do more to acknowledge that and protect ourselves and support ourselves, knowing that these things are possible. There's many different experiences we can create. That experience, that traumatic experience that we all have in our mind is the one that's projected through the media, that happens in the hospital. If I would have known what I knew when I had my children, I would have my children at home. No one ever even told me I had an option to have my baby at home. No one told me I had an option to go to a birthing center. So we need to know that we have options and we can do what we can to curate the birth experience. It starts with sharing those birth experiences. That's why our culture and our community, that sharing is so important. And then we can also do what we can to curate the birth experience that we desire to have for ourselves. We don't have to just accept, the often traumatic experience that is sold to us at the hospitals.
And that's how we end. We do not have to accept the okie doke. We create our experiences, and that's the crux of Make It Work. Make It Work is about creating the experience of living the world that we want to live in, building the world that we want to live in, and what that looks like, how we want to raise our children, how we want to educate our children, how we want to give birth, and how we want, what our version of the American dream looks like. Yeah. But the work that you are doing is activism, and being able to do it in a way that is not dramatic and in a way that is gentle gives us hope for the future that they will be able to rise and do more. There are a lot of different ways to help our communities become whole again, and I think doulas are a great part of that. So I thank you for doing this work, and I will end by asking, is there a way for people to reach out to you if they would like to talk to you specifically about becoming their doula? How would they get in contact with you?
Okay, sure. My contact information, you can find me online at BornDay Maternity or BornDay Maternity Wellness. .com is my website. I'm on Instagram. You'll find me on YouTube. And I just want to also add that our culture is such that many of us have been doing this work as doulas and midwives before it had a name. So please, if you're someone who, if this is on your heart and this is the work that you're doing, please continue to do that work and support our community. There are many of us doing the work who may never go through the process to get on the level to do what it takes to have access to be certified or work inside the hospital, like you spoke earlier about the red tapes and all the different things that you have to go through to even be able to make it to that stage. And there are those of us who will soldier and do what it takes to get there. But if you're not that person who's willing to do that, I would say please still do your work. Please still value yourself and the work that you're doing for our community. It's important.
Elle, thank you again. And I will make sure we get that information, your contact information again as well. There it is. It's on the screen. It's right there. Y'all can find her right there. And I appreciate it. And hopefully folks will reach out to you and hope to become a doula as well as use your services. So I thank you again for your time and your commitment to the work, your commitment to the birthing parents and the babies and Black folks in general. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out and including me, and looking forward to being in community with all of you here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing this again real soon.
All right.
Thank you all again.